Hey, everybody, welcome to Grilling at the Green here in Portland and Seattle. And I don't know if we started San Francisco yet. We may have not, but in Texas, in Pennsylvania, and some other states around there. And of course, every week on the Golf News Network iHeart channel out there. I'm JT or Jeff. We can call me whatever. We'd like to thank the folks at Painted Hills Natural Beef, beef the way nature intended, and also the Oregon Crab Commission. From seed to plate, it's good stuff. Oregon Dungeness crab. We've got a very special guest today, Debbie O'Connell. If you follow anything like on LinkedIn or Twitter, any of the platforms, Debbie's out there with a positive message. And by God, we could use some of that for more than just a golf game. But and Debbie's also an author. She's got a tome out there called Golf Positive, Live Positive. And she's one of Golf Digest's 50 best women teachers in America. So how's that? Is that a good intro for you?
That sounds awesome. And Jeff, just to add to that, I am one of the leading mindset experts in the game, and I absolutely have fallen in love with our brains. So thank you for that great intro. I am so excited to be here with
Well,
you. Now,
thank you.
do I get food from you being here grilling
Yeah,
at the green?
yeah, we have food of vision, so I just send it through that way and you can sample it. um how did you we'll start with the basics here, Debbie. How did you uh kind of decide to not just teach but really get into people's thought processes and emotions and the whole positive genre, if you will?
Because I struggled. That's
Yeah.
why, I grew up, I'm a very good athlete in a family where both my parents were great athletes. And I felt for me a lot of expectations, a lot of high expectations. And, talking to my mom now, like she didn't mean to do that. My dad did. It was show me a good loser and I'll show you a loser.
Right.
Winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. So I heard a lot of those comments. And then having some skills, I felt like I had to perform. And I would get incredibly nervous. When I was in sixth grade basketball, I had a migraine headache
Oh, Lord.
because that night we had the championship game. And that's how much pressure I was putting on myself just playing in sports. And that was basketball. I grew up playing other sports than golf, it wasn't golf. And then when I got to golf, I realized this is a bigger challenge mentally than all those other sports I ever played. Because
Yes.
golf really does put us to the test in terms of our mental game. So I wanted to understand more for me because I didn't know if I was afraid of failure, afraid of success. Why am I not reaching my full potential? This is frustrating. I would feel badly about myself. I would think I wasn't good enough. And I was trying consciously to say positive things because I did learn that and, be going through college, and I still underneath it felt not good enough and that there was more. So I went deep into my studies, actually became a life coach, and now I've combined my life coaching skills with my many years of experience as an LPGA professional to become a
Sure.
golf mindset expert.
You touched on something there, and I just want to jump back to it real quick, Debbie. You said you didn't feel that you were good enough. Paraphrasing. Um, and when we're off the air, I'll tell you a personal story because I can kind of relate to that. And but do you think that was entirely because you wanted to please like your father and your mother? We all do. We want to please our parents, you know. I grew up in a competitive sport, but it wasn't golf. And but sometimes I think that can carry over into mom and dad are retired, they're gone, they passed away, whatever, and you still have those feelings inside sometimes.
I am so glad you brought this up, Jeff, because our imprint years are 0 to 7 years old. And if we grow up with parents who only talk about where you fell short, you get all A's except that one B. What
Hmm.
happened on the B? And are always pointing out where you weren't perfect, then you grow up in life as a perfectionist. You feel like I have to be perfect to please my parents or to be good enough, to be loved enough. The people who felt a little out of control and had so much fear, literally in golf, I can look at a student who's squeezing so tightly and have incredible tension. How many of you out there hold the club too tightly? I'm sure it's at least 95% of you. And many times when some people I can say, just relax your grip, take a breath, let your arms relax, and they can do it. Other people can't. And I
Yeah.
say, are you a control freak everywhere in your life or just in golf? And they're like, how'd you know it was everywhere? Or I'll just say, where else do you have to have control? And it's because they have such fear if they're out of control. And your brain doesn't know the difference, whether it's just swinging a golf club or if you might get hurt emotionally if you're out of control. So those imprint years, that's why it doesn't matter how old you are. We want to tackle what are your beliefs? I have to
Yeah.
be perfect to be loved. Like for I had a situation, and my parents are I'm blessed. I still have them. They're great parents. They want what's best for us, right? My mom
Sure.
coached me. My dad didn't because he was a bad sport and he couldn't handle losing for some reason. However, he grew up, losing was a very bad thing. So he didn't coach us. My mom did. And she was a great coach. And I remember this one game, and some of your listeners may be able to relate to this in one way or another, whether it was in golf or in another sport or maybe academics or something. We were in a softball game, and it's the championship game, and it's going into extra innings. My sister and I are the two pitchers. And now I am younger, shorter, not as strong as my sister. She's 15 months older, taller, and stronger. Obviously, the better choice to go into extra innings. I was that little kid, though, with so much excitement. You know, those kids that are pick me, pick me, pick me. I
Right.
want to go first. And no fear at all of I might lose the game. Nothing ever came. I'm like, Mom, I want to do it. Pick me. I want to pitch. I want to pitch. So my mom, who didn't really want to say no to me because she just saw the
She,
enthusiasm, said, yeah, go ahead. So there we are, the championship. I think I got one or two outs. The best hitter on the other team is up, and I feel like I'm firing it in there, Jeff. I'm just loving this. Then she gets a hold of one. The ball goes flying over my head, over the outfielders, and she hits a home run, and we lose the game.
oh,
Now, my mom, when I came off the field, and I was disappointed we lost, but I don't think I was crushed. But then I heard my mom say to herself, but out loud, I knew I should have put Donna in. And in that moment, I really thought I'd let my mom down and I was a disappointment. And that little enthusiasm just didn't seem to be there anymore. The fearlessness that I had
yes.
before. And I would think some people can relate to that of where when they were a kid did that fearlessness, that excitement of just participating, just go out and do your best and accepting the result was part of you that you don't have anymore.
Yeah, I can totally understand that because especially growing up, there's two versions. There's the version that's inside the house of you can do better. You want to, like you said, heading towards the perfectionist. And then there's the version outside of the house where the parents are talking about, I got the best pitcher in the county here or something. You've got that. And I think that poses a bit of a conundrum for kids, Debbie. I know it did for me because you're hearing one thing and then you go back inside the house or out to the barn or whatever, and you hear another thing and you're going, what in the hell are they doing here? I don't know what I'm doing. And I think that causes a doubt, especially dampens the confidence, and sometimes it stifles sports is also being creative at times, and that can stifle things where you don't want to take a chance. We do have to take a break, so you can answer that on the other side of the break, if you would. We're talking with Debbie O'Connell, LPGA teaching professional, author of Golf Positive, Live Positive, um, motivational speaker. Great. I mean, I did my research on this and I'm impressed. So Debbie and I'll be back right after this. Don't go away. Welcome back to Grilling at the Green. I'm JT. We're talking with Debbie O'Connell today. Before we jump back into that, Debbie, this is the part of the show where we always do a travel tip for people. And I know you're very well traveled. Um, and so I could have named it something a little easier instead of golf trip travel tips. Say that 4 times really fast. But anyway, what would be your travel tip? And it could be, and I'm baiting you, so I apologize for that. But if you're going someplace to play and on some sort of competitive thing, is when you're traveling, is that a good time to get yourself back in the right mindset?
Every moment of the day is always a great time to get yourself back in the right mindset. I'm going to give everyone an incredible tip though. Before I get
Okay.
into the mindset that you can do when you're traveling, an air tag on
Hmm.
your golf clubs could save the day. We had people with who use ship sticks,
Right.
and somehow they went to the wrong place. Or even our trip to Spain, they were on the airplane, and I know we get the barcode, but for some reason they couldn't find some of their clubs. So we were all talking about, wow, if you just had an air tag in there and you could say, find that air tag, which is on my clubs, you could tell the airport or ship sticks or whoever else exactly where your clubs are located. So
Yeah.
that was a good one that helped. One of our travelers did that, and hers happened to go all over the world, and she knew exactly where her clubs were at all times.
Oh, that's a great tip. Very good tip.
Yeah.
We want to thank the folks at Kia, Weston Kia, and largest Kia dealer here in the Northwest for that. We're talking with Debbie O'Connell today. If Debbie puts these really cool little vignettes, little snippets out. I actually see them on LinkedIn, but I know you probably post them other places like that. And that little message is always very, very cool. But I want to go back to what we talked about at the end of the last segment. That getting different messages, growing up. Uh, Sometimes that can almost, I think, and I'm don't know anything about this stuff really, but I think that could be almost impossible to overcome for some people.
Thankfully, it's not impossible. There are people way smarter than me who studied neuroscience, studied our brain, and understand our conscious and unconscious mind, understand how they work and the neural connections that we created. Then, not only that, Jeff, and then how to break those neural connections and create new ones that are more empowering. So, if we have found that there's a limiting belief, I'm not smart enough, which was one I had. Because when I was in second grade, and I confidently, even though I was really shy and fearful and full of doubt and afraid, this one week I just knew I was going to get 100 on my spelling bee. And the teacher said, remember, tomorrow's your spelling bee. And I stood up and I said, oh, this is an easy week. And she looked at me in front of the whole class and said, easy for you, Debbie? You only have three perfects the whole year. And we had a lot of weeks in. I was the worst in the class and I was crushed.
Oh,
And I just knew at that point I was the dumbest one in the class and I wasn't smart. And that belief stuck because it was an emotional, very embarrassing moment. And then that was my belief. And then the rest of my life, I find proof that shows I'm not smart enough. Thankfully, I learned how to change that neural connection and that belief by with neurolinguistic programming, timeline therapy, all the modalities I use, meditation, hypnosis, like I use all of it. And what we want is the conscious and unconscious mind to get on the same page. Because for years I would just consciously say, I've got this, I can do this, I'm talented, I'm a great golfer, me and my target, I focus. And I would do it consciously. Unconsciously, though, I didn't feel I had the skills or I was good enough, smart enough, talented enough, whatever enough that I felt, or I felt this pressure that I had to perform. I had to be perfect out there. I had to win. And it was pressure, not just striving to win.
how does the average, the weekend warrior, the duffers, whatever you want to call them, they go out and they're starting to have a really good game. I mean, these guys aren't trying to shoot 4 under or anything like that. But maybe they shoot 90, and which is fine. If that's where you shoot, that's where you shoot, and you're having a good time. And maybe they get halfway through their front nine, and everything is kind of clicking. They made a birdie, they made one bogey, the rest of it's been pars. They're on track for a really good day. But then the doubt creeps in, and they start, maybe they take a little aggressive approach to a shot or to a hole, all right, and it doesn't work, and then the doubt starts to creep in. I do that, and then you think, what were you doing, you dummy, type thing. And that can actually even though it's a social and a fun round, that can ruin the round for people.
Yeah, especially when they have it going like that. And part of it is if everyone just imagines for a moment, where are your average scores? We all have a handicap, but if you think about it, you usually score between blank high number and blank low number.
Right.
Even if you have an incredible front nine, you shoot just badly enough to sneak in that range. Or you have a horrible front nine and then you pull it together on the back to get back in that range. So it's our belief system of where we see ourselves as a golfer. And at the biggest power in our unconscious mind is to create the reality that we believe to be the truth. So if you see yourself as a certain golfer, your unconscious mind is going to make sure that's what you shoot. And the beliefs are, if you don't believe you're that good, we self-sabotage. Anybody ever hear that term, self-sabotaging? In a lot of areas of life, right? Not just golf, but we self-sabotage. I've had clients who would do that exact thing. I had a gal, Lori, she would just have it going on and then miss one shot, get frustrated, angry, speak so negatively to herself. And then she did this 5-day challenge with me called Conquer Your Golf Mind. And later that year, with the mindset shifts, she became club champion. She didn't change anything else she was doing in terms of golf fitness or practicing or anything. It was a shift in mindset. She dropped her handicap by 6. And then she stopped getting so frustrated and angry, which causes adrenaline and cortisol, the stress hormone, and then tension in your body, and it messes up your timing. So this can happen fast. When you shift in mindset, it's a lot faster than having to hit 1,000 shots a day to work on a swing change.
Sure.
Get your mindset better so that you can play up to your potential, whatever that is right now.
Well, okay. We're going to take another break here. We're going to be back with Debbie O'Connell. Got more questions about the mind. Imagine that. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Welcome back to Grilling at the Green. I'm JT. Again, we'd like to thank the folks at Painter Hills Natural Beef the way nature intended. Of course, it intended it to be that good. Also, pig powder. That's from my radio wife on the barbecue show, Leanne Whippen. I almost said Leanne O'Connell. Leanne Whippen is pig powder was voted the best rub on the planet. So go to pigpowder.com for that. We're talking with Debbie O'Connell today. Golf positive, live positive. When you wrote that and when you work on that and you put together these programs for that, Debbie, do you yourself still ever have the doubt? Do you have to work on it? I don't want to say constantly, and do you have little things you've taught yourself that you get out there and one of those evil little buggers creeps into your brain, one of those thoughts, and you go, okay, there, I can handle this, and you dial up the response, so to speak.
Yes, and at a different level.
Okay.
So when it's that saying, if your goal doesn't scare you, it's not big enough. So when I'm going for the next level is when I'll have some doubts or fears come in. What my goal is for everyone is where their goal is now. I want to help them release the old beliefs, shift the belief that if you don't perform well, you won't belong. I had a client named Grant who had the chipping yips, and he had that underlying belief that if he failed, if he wasn't good enough, he wouldn't be invited to come back in the group. People would suddenly not like him. Now, that didn't come from golf. That came from another belief. But once we shifted that belief, we create a new empowering belief that I can be my authentic self and try my best, and I'm welcomed and I belong and I am valued and worthy. When he believed that, all of a sudden, that belief is there. Now, when he strives to the next level, say he
Mm.
now is going for the club championship or he's going to qualify for USAM. Now there's another challenge. So we might have other doubts come in. So that's what I mean. But we can shift to empowering beliefs. Like my one client, Teresa, she came to my 5 day challenge on after day one. She shot actually 14 shots better. She'd been playing golf for a year. Her lowest score ever was 104. With a couple things she learned on that day one, she went out and shot 90 the second day and
Wow.
said, I was so much more relaxed than I'd ever been. And hers was about belonging as well. And once she realized, you know what, I belong out here, and we helped to shift it, she went out and played, and now she shoots in the 90s consistently, and she's talking now about I want to start to shoot in the 80s. But once she broke through, she always then has been shooting in the 90s. She didn't have another score over 100, and she's 75 years old.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah.
Good for her. I know that Debbie, excuse me, one thing that always kind of does, it doesn't kind of, it really does bother me when I'm playing with my friends or whatever, that you see somebody in another group and they get very upset. They get upset for a myriad of reasons. Maybe it's slow play. On public golf courses, it's kind of hard not to be subjected to that on certain days. It's just there's a lot of golfers now, but they hit a shot or something, or the girl in the bev cart didn't have Coors Light, she only had Miller Light or something. I mean, good God, who knows why they get upset? But it's like you're supposed to be also having fun out here. You're not Tiger Woods. You're not Shoffley, you're not Nelly Corda, you're not any of these. You're just out here to have fun. Yeah, you want to shoot a good score, but you're probably not a pro. Have fun. Don't get upset. That's kind of my thing, because I gave up getting upset about this stuff a long time ago, and my life got significantly better. My golf game still sucks, but my life got better.
It's easier said than done because of these beliefs. If someone believes they have to be perfect to be valued, when they hit a poor shot, they're going to be angry and mad at themselves. They don't understand why consciously. All those emotions just come up. But I'm glad you brought up slow play or other things you can't control. You can't control there's no Coors Light in the golf cart. You can't control slow play. When people blame slow play for a poor golf game, you want to listen carefully. Everyone who gets upset in slow play, you disempower yourself. Guess what happens the next time there's slow play? Your brain, because you were so emotional and angry and frustrated last time, and all you focused on was slow play, and then you said, "Oh, I had my tempo was going great, and slow play messed me up." Guess what happens the next time? Your brain says, "Oh, slow play. Oops, I guess we don't play well." And then you'll go through the same cycle over and
Mm.
over and over. So make sure you stop blaming your poor golf on things like slow play or the beverage cart or the playing partner, because you're totally disempowering you. You want to find solutions. There's this whole concept I teach in my 5 day challenge called being in effect, when you're affected by things, or being in cause, where you empower yourself and you find solutions. Like Brittany Lincecum, she brings Sudoku puzzles on the course with her
Yeah.
because she hates slow play. So she distracts herself. She finds something positive to do that she enjoys, that keeps her in a good state of mind, so that she never blames a bad score on slow play. She says, I'm going to find something to do that helps me play as good or maybe even better when we come across slow play.
The only thing that really irritates me uh, is people talking on their cell phones. That's something that can be remedied. You don't need, if you want, if you're waiting in a tee box, you're waiting for your second shot or something, you get a message, text it back, put the phone back. I don't really have a problem with that. But I've also been behind people that are holding a news conference out there, with their cell phone, and maybe they've got one of these little guys. I don't know if you can see it here. It's a little earpiece, and they're talking and they're doing this, and maybe their playing partner is 15 feet away and he's trying to prep for a shot, but Bob here just keeps running his pie hole. So, that's probably the only thing that can get me kind of fired up. I don't verbalize it or anything, but I just like, dude, you're on a golf course, have some manners, put the phone away, enjoy the day.
And it's handling that situation by looking at what can you control, Jeff, and what
Yeah.
can't you control. If you're going to take control of the situation and say, hey, get his attention, go, be quiet, give him the shh sign, the universal sign for be
Yeah.
quiet. Then that's what you can control. You've done it. It's over. If that person keeps talking, now you got to let it go. Or if
Yeah.
you decide I'm not going to say anything, so okay, now I have to sing in my head. I bet you can sing really well in your head. I don't know if you can outwardly, but in your head, I'm sure we can all sing great. Like sing a song, do something. Tell yourself a joke. Bring a list of jokes. I don't know. Find a way. Take some deep breaths. I do a lot about breathing. How can you breathe to get yourself in a calm, focused state of mind? Because I also wrote a book, Jeff, called about lowering your handicap through flow state golf. Flow state is being in the zone. So how can you get yourself back in the zone in that moment? Rather than staying frustrated for things on the outside.
Yeah. Debbie, the other thing that I found works really well is a slingshot for people that annoy me. You
Hey,
know,
whatever works. Like right in the butt. You get them right in
yeah,
the.
yeah. I'm a pretty good shot,
There you
and
go.
I'm much better with weapons than I am with golf clubs. But I'm just saying that a BB in the butt usually will will make them shape up a little bit, and maybe
Get their attention.
yeah, sometimes there's an adverse reaction that you really don't want to see, but it happens. It happens. We're gonna take a break. We're gonna come back and wrap up the show with Debbie O'Connell. This has been great. We're gonna continue on in after hours. So you're listening to what's the name of the show? Oh yeah, Grilling at the Green. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Grilling at the Green. We're talking with Debbie O'Connell today. First of all, I want to thank everybody for listening. We're not leaving right this second, but I always want to thank people for listening. Um, and I've had a really enjoyable time talking with Debbie today. One of the things you're doing, I wanted to get this in the regular show too. You've got a Solheim Cup extravaganza coming up, don't you?
I do, and it's a blast. So, and we need American fans to get there. So come and join me. I do have a few spots left. We are going to be in Virginia this year, not far from Washington, D.C. Great place for the U.S. team to win the cup back for sure. It's been 3 years. Last year we tied them, but they had the cup, so they retained it. So we need those fans. But my extravaganza includes an opening dinner dance. Like, Jeff, come on, bring your dance shoes. Come and dance with me. We can two-step, we can line dance, do whatever you like. So it's an opening dinner dance. And then I have my own Golf Positive Cup, a really fun match play event where I
Mm-hmm.
divide in two teams, Team America and Team USA. Then I take care of all the arrangements for the Solheim Cup, the transportation to and from, all the tickets, and I get pavilion tickets for everyone. It's a great, if you've never been to a Solheim Cup or a Ryder Cup, I highly recommend it. And the Solheim Cup has fewer fans, so you can get more closer to the players. You can be more, it's more intimate. I've haven't been to a Ryder Cup during the competition. I was there on a Wednesday. It was packed on practice round day. And I was like,
Yeah.
wow, I wouldn't want to be there. That's just me. That crowd, I want to see all the shots. You can do that at a Solheim Cup. It's a great event. I have a closing dinner then. It's really a fun week. If you've never been, I highly recommend it. It's like being at a football game, the Olympics, and a golf tournament all in one.
Wow. Well, I know with the way Nelly Corda's playing and Rose
Woo!
Zhang and that, you might get a few more spectators or patrons. If we were in Augusta, you'd have to say patrons. But the way the whole top tier there at the LPGA is really playing well this year. So you might their TV numbers are up and stuff. So you might get a few more fans there.
Yeah, even with less controversy than the PGA Tour going
Oh
on right
God,
now.
yeah,
The LPGA is going great. It's more fun, it's more positive. Nelly, 5 in a row, and went for her sixth. She just didn't make any putts that day.
yeah.
But there's so many great things going on in the LPGA Tour. I encourage you to tune in. They're in New Jersey. We have 3 events in New Jersey. Who knew we were the golf mecca for women's professional golf? It's amazing to think about it. But it's great. This game is great. And you know what I love to watch? And I
Sure.
think everyone would agree, it's such a mental game. We'd all agree that golf's a mental game.
Yeah.
But then, Jeff, I ask everybody, well, how much time do you spend on your mental game? And it's very little or none for so many golfers. And you can see those challenges on tour. Wyndham Clark, if you're watching Netflix, the second season, I think episode 3 was called Mind Game. It really compares Joel Damon and Wyndham Clark and how well Wyndham Clark did in 6 months working with a sports psychologist. It's so powerful, this game, and you see that pros struggling until they shift their mindset, right?
Yeah.
That's the key. That's the key for everyone, I think, to get the most enjoyment out of this game and get the most out of their skills is
I
to spend some time on
Debbie, I'll
that
tell
mental.
you this. I play because of this show and some other stuff. Excuse me. I get invited to play in a number of scrambles every year to raise money for things. And I love it. And I've got a team of henchmen that I play with all the time. We've been playing together for a number of years. And it's all fun and all that. But the last one I played in was a couple of weeks ago. I hadn't picked up a club for a month. All right. But, and there was a reason for that. One was the weather, but the other thing was I decided to try something because I knew you were coming on the show. All right. We've had this plan for like 5 weeks now, folks. I worked on my brain and about my brain and some breathing um, before I hit a shot and the way I envisioned a shot. And two of the guys I play with that were still sober enough to talk at the end of the day, they both said, that's the best you've struck the ball in a long time. Okay. Now I know Captain Jack's pitch and putt down the street here. I'm on their Hall of Shame on the wall. But seriously, I did that to see if it would work, and it does work. So there you go.
There you go. And that you just made a couple shifts. So imagine making conscious mind level shifts like that, learning those routines and the visualization, the breathing exercises that help you get into focus and triggers for flow state, which is the ultimate present moment. Tiger Woods talked about being in flow by saying when he hit some of his best shots ever, he actually doesn't remember hitting the shot.
Right.
He remembers choosing his club, and then he remembers watching it fly to the target. And he said, I don't consciously remember what I did in between.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate macro flow. There are different levels, and I help people with those triggers. And part of being in flow is losing your self-consciousness. And that's the unconscious mind work that I love to do with people, because not only does it change their golf game, Jeff, it changes their lives,
Yeah.
which is what is so fun for me to
I think I
watch
did that in
golf games get
college,
better in
Debbie.
life. Yeah.
I
You
think I did
lost
that.
your you lost your self-consciousness.
Yeah, I lost a lot
You
of
lost
things.
yourself.
Yeah. I survived. I'll say that. Real quick, because we got to get out of here a little bit over time. It's no sweat. How can they find you? How can people find you? And we're going to talk more in after hours, people. So don't worry about that.
Awesome. Well, I am on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Look up Debbie O'Connell, look up Golf Positive. I have my pages there. My website is debbie-o'connell.com. But if I could, can I give everybody a gift? I would love to give everyone my new flow state book.
Sure.
It'll be really easy. There text flow, FLOW, to this phone number, 727 339 0106.
Say it.
727 339 0106. Text the word flow to that number, and you'll get a copy of my ebook, and it gives you 8 flow triggers to
Okay.
help you get into the zone, get into flow while you're playing golf.
Is it FLO or FLOW or
FLOW.
okay? Got to make sure.
Yeah, I want to give everybody a gift for hanging out with us. I
Oh.
love it.
We like free stuff. Free stuff. Debbie O'Connell. Debbie and I are going to do after hours, but thank you, my dear. This has been great. You will become a regular on the show if you'll have us, and it's been very entertaining and inspirational, actually.
I am so glad to hear that. I would love to come back, Jeff. You're not bad to hang out with, and one day I want to be next to you when you're grilling, so I can get some good food too.
Oh, well, that we can make that happen. Anyway, we got to get out of here. We'll be back next week with another edition of Grilling at the Green. Stick around for after hours. Do what we say out there. Go out, play some golf, have some fun, take care, and most of all, be kind. See you later, everybody. Hey, welcome to After Hours here on Grilling at the Green. I'm JT. Today we've got Debbie O'Connell with us. Golf positive, live positive. I don't even know what to say. There's so much good stuff about you out there. This is the first time we've ever actually talked, so I find it very interesting. And one of the reasons I'll tell you that, Debbie, is because we've had other motivational speakers on that's what they do for a living and coaching and stuff. And some of them are very good. And some of them are just like, they cut and pasted stuff from other people's work and put a program together. And you can always tell those folks, it's just, I'm not ripping on them too bad, but you can always tell the ones that's just what they did. People like yourself that have worked hard and put programs together and put a lot of thought into it, and probably made more errors in putting the program together as they went along than what the actual end result looks like, because that's how we learn. Anyway, so that's praise from me, if you want to take it that way.
Well, thank you so much. And so much of what the work I do came out of my own struggles, and then implementing things that I love to teach, which gave me success. And
Yeah.
I'll give you an example of one of those is I'm also a bowler, 10-pin bowling. I don't really bowl anymore, but years ago I was in a league, and I'm a good bowler. And I really wanted to have a 300 game, perfect 300 game with just 12 strikes in a row in one game. Every frame you strike. And I would get to 7, and my heart would start pounding. Anybody else feel nervous on the first tee, or when you're about to shoot your lowest score ever, or maybe win the tournament? Your body reacts. It can't help but react because it's important to you, and you want to do it. You want to do well. And I found I had this limiting belief that if I was nervous, I couldn't succeed in sport. Like I wouldn't be able to function and perform. And that was because of, Jeff, do you remember Wide World of Sports?
Oh,
the
sure.
Thrill of victory, the agony of defeat.
That poor skier.
Oh my gosh. And this is what the announcers would constantly say. If they succeeded, wow, they have ice in their veins. So I'm thinking they never even got nervous. If they failed, the pressure got to them. So that was my belief. So I was like so frustrated. At first I thought, all right, I can't have a 300 game. I get too nervous. And then about a week later, I was like, darn it, I want to have a 300 game. I went to a sports psychologist. I went to a guy named Nelson Burton Jr., who's a Hall of Famer in bowling. He happened to be in my town. And then I started working out. So I put this formula together for myself. And then this one night at league, everything came together and I got in that flow state. I got those flow triggers going. I was so focused on target. Every time I get up there, I take my deep breath, say me and my target, and all of a sudden I go by the 7, the 8 in a row, 9, 10. Now I'm in the 10th frame, which is now you bowl three
Yep.
times in the 10th. No one else is bowling in the lanes. It's quiet as could be, except the machine running and my ball coming back. Now I am nervous from head to toe. So, and I love to tell this story because I want all of you to know you can succeed even if you are literally shaking. Because I was shaking and I hit the 11th one. And now I come back and just the murmurs, the excitement, and then it quiets again. And I pick up my ball and I take that breath, me in my spot, and I said the same thing and I did the same routine. If you don't have a pre-shot routine, please get one. And I roll the ball over the same spot, watch it just go boom right in the pocket, the pins fly, and I had that 300 game and I was crying with excitement. It was quite a moment because I struggled for so long. And these are the kind of programs that I put together. I look back on where was I where a lot of people are struggling? What did I do that helped me succeed? And then, of course, I went to all this education and gone deep in my education so I could, it's all neuroscience based of
Right.
how our brains work. I'm just fascinated with our brains. So, work on your mental game. I
I,
would love for it to be with me, but if not, work with somebody. Just get going on that mental game. It's important.
I think so much, um, doing this show for, I don't know how many years I've been doing it. It's been great the whole time, but I have come to the conclusion that what you just said is absolutely 100% top of the rung. Um, I go back to a quote in a movie. It was a Bobby Jones movie or something, and the guy that was um, playing Walter Hagen, he said, "Three bad shots, one good shot makes par." Okay, it's kind of a classic line and all
Oh,
that.
yes.
So he didn't worry about it. He just didn't worry about it, right? Keeping that in mind and then trying to just I'm a big guy. I'm not, you know, Zach Johnson size. I'll put it that way. I'm a little bigger, a little meatier because of my previous work and stuff, and I cook. So I don't have this most fluid golf swing. All right. I don't have that free flow all the time. It looks like maybe I'm hacking on snakes. I don't know. But the point is, that's what I've got. And so I have to work with it. Instead of beating the hell out of myself for not having the perfect swing, there's only a couple people on the face of the earth, I think, that have come close to having a perfect swing. And after a season, they were always changing it anyway. So, take that out of your noggin. But to get to the point here, I just learned that this is the swing I have. This is who I am. Stop thinking that the world is going to end and just hit the damn ball. Just hit it. I've got a pre-shot routine, unless we're doing one of those scramble things, then we're all kind of clowning around, having fun. But, in a regular game, you have a routine, you swing, you do your waggle, whatever your routine is, just step up and hit the ball. Your life will be so much simpler. That's my thoughts.
It's perfect, Jeff. There was a golfer years ago, Mickey Wright. She
Mhm.
actually is talked about today as having the best swing in the game. She's in the USGA's museum and it shows her swing and many of the best golfers ever look at her swing as one of the best ever. And she won 82 times on the LPGA tour. The only reason she doesn't have more than 88, Kathy Whitworth has the record, is because she retired a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Someone asked her one time when she was playing, she said, the reporter said, Mickey, it seems like every shot you swing and the ball goes at your target. Like, how do you do that? Her answer, Jeff, is to sum up exactly what you said. She said, I don't care where it's going. It's acceptance of the outcome. The challenge comes for so many people, like my client Susan, who would get so frustrated, mad at herself for a bad shot. It's the meaning you put to the bad shot.
Hmm.
What does a bad shot mean to you? If it's just like, whoops, I did my best, that's interesting. Wow, let's go, let's make a good par. We only need one good one, right? You just said it. I only need to
Yeah.
make one great putt or one great chip in. It's what does it mean? Like how what stops you from just accepting where the ball goes and accepting the outcome? Because once Susan started to do that, now she naturally says, "Oh, interesting," and she doesn't have all that negative energy.
Yes.
She dropped her handicap by 10.
I actually, Debbie, I quit keeping my handicap, and I did it specifically for a reason, for not beating myself up. Because are you running out of time?
Not at all. I'm so
Okay.
excited I have more time with you, right? We
Okay.
have more time, right?
Oh yeah, we've got plenty of time.
I've got all the time you want, Jeff. This is so
Um,
much fun.
the Years ago, I played to like a 12 and 14, and then age and treachery caught up with me, and I had to go in the body shop a few times to get some work done, right? Which it happens. Um, and so then all of a sudden I was shooting 22, 20, 22 like that. And I thought, you know what? You're just frustrating yourself when you get everything patched up, meaning knees and those types of things. When you do that, then you can start keeping your handicap again, because all you're doing is pissing yourself off, so to speak. Pardon my French, but that's what I'm doing out there. That was part of my program to say, I'm still a member. I can still do it if I want to, but I don't want to do it till I'm really back to where I'm really comfortable, physically comfortable, playing all the time, and not don't have to think about it. You know what I mean? I just want to play. So that's
And
why
that's a strategy for
yeah,
sure. My godmother never kept score her whole golfing career. She said, "I love the game so much. I just love being out there. I don't care what I shoot. I'm not even going to keep score." And that's how she played. But that's knowing yourself. Now, we could also look at what does that higher handicap represent to you? What's the meaning you put to that makes it so frustrating? And then help you shift that out so it wouldn't really matter as much.
yeah,
But if this is working for you and you get those knees back in shape, and then if you want to keep a handicap, great. If you don't,
yeah.
so what do you get? Yeah, all your scrambles, no handicap, huh? In your
No,
scramble events?
it's just best shot, best
Yeah,
ball type deal.
yeah,
So, but we come in at, well, last 2 weeks ago, we came in at 9 under.
nice. You're
So,
only handicapped if your playing partners drink too much.
yeah, yeah.
That's your biggest handicap.
I'm the driver. They're the designated drinkers, and I'm the designated driver, like that. So, no, and that's just been because people have asked me, and I know people listen to the show, they can go look it up, but I haven't posted anything in several years, just because of the fact that I was frustrating myself of not being able to get back, you know, eight under 18, just say under 18, like that. And I wasn't being able to do that because it was this hula hoop thing in your brain, that one thing was just cycling around again and saying, this is bad, this is going to hurt, this, whatever the reason, doesn't matter. But, and I just stopped. I just figured out that I had to take some of these things out to get back to, one, enjoy the game. And two, once I started enjoying the game again, then I could start trying to play for real again. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and when you enjoy it, you'll play better.
Yeah.
Having that positive energy. And that doesn't mean you truly don't care, right?
Right.
You can be competitive and want to win. Where we get in trouble is when we beat ourselves up and we put ourselves down the whole time, because then we're going to lose confidence throughout the round as opposed to letting poor shots go, moving on to the next hole like a new moment and stay in the present moment. And that's the key. If we can not be upset about the past and we can not fear the future, that's the gift you give yourself, which is the present. It is truly a present that you give yourself. And that's the place to play this game. And what's interesting, Jeff, I tell people all the time in the pre-shot routine, visualize the shot like it means the world. See it exactly the way you want it, because your brain loves a very clear and specific goal. It
Mm-hmm.
wants you to tell it like it's like it's a fifth grader or third grader or a 5 year old, exactly what you want it to do. And so you visualize it like it means everything. And then you step into what we like to call the play box and you want to swing like you don't care. And
Yeah.
that's the challenge of this game mentally. How
Oh
do
yeah.
I do that? How do I want to win so badly? How do I be competitive? How do I picture that shot and then relax and let it go? And that's all mindset.
So, speaking of mindset, these are some abusive questions. Not really. Um, that we usually do in after hours. They're quite fun. So we're not going to go through the whole list today, but there's a few things that will tell our listeners a little more about Debbie.
I
Are
love
you
it.
are you ready? Okay.
Send it my way, Jeff.
All right, here we go. If you could play a round of golf with one of your golfing heroes, who would it be?
Nancy Lopez, the one who popped in my head. I have played golf with Nancy. She's actually a friend of mine. So, and I always love that round. I'd say, and I've played with Jessica Cordo. I haven't played with Nelly, but I would go with Arnold Palmer only because Nancy I've already played golf with.
Okay. Okay. So
Actually, can I change that?
you can do
I'm
whatever
going to
you
go with
want.
Babes the Hairiest because I would
Oh,
love to figure out her darn brain.
oh,
Oh man, that woman.
she was a wild
Babe,
woman. I loved it.
babe.
So if Debbie was declared supreme leader of golf for one day, just one day, what would you, as supreme leader, decree?
That is awesome. I am the supreme leader of golf. I would just decree that there's penalty shots for negative attitudes.
I like that.
Now, curse words are okay for a second, but a
Oh yeah.
negative attitude out there, just being miserable, not allowed. You get penalty shots for that. Two.
Okay. I
I'm going to
like
say
it.
two.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You're the supreme leader. You can do
I
whatever you
love
want.
that.
Okay. Um, if we put Debbie's skills to music, what music would it be?
Ooh, my skills to music, I love to dance. So it's got to be dance tunes. Um, kind of music. You know what? You know what I love to do? I love a jitterbug. I'm gonna say it's more like a jitterbug. Dun
Okay.
dun dun dun, because I love to dance the jitterbug with my mom. Um, it means the world to me. She's so special. She used to do the jitterbug or two step with her mom, and now it's mom and I when we're all at all the family functions and parties, and so that would be it. That's a
You get some of that
meaningful
good
and
Andrews
fun.
sisters or the Clooney sisters singing in the background too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, there
yeah,
you go.
beautiful thing,
There you
beautiful.
go. Um, if you could dine with a historical figure, now this figure does not have to be in the golf world, but if Debbie could dine with a historical figure, who would it be and what would be on the menu?
I would dine with Harriet Tubman because I watched that movie Harriet, and she is the most courageous
Oh yeah.
woman, person I have ever learned about in my life. So she would be it. And then we would have on the menu. Now I'm generally a healthy eater, but let's go all out here. Um, I never eat this. I'm non-dairy and I don't eat fried foods, but I'm thinking some chicken parm.
There you
And
go.
spaghetti. I don't even eat white flour, but I think chicken parm and spaghetti might be a good meal.
I love that. I love that. Um, if you could erase one mistake from your past, Debbie, what would it be?
Oh, well, I tell you, I wouldn't necessarily want to erase it because I learned so much from it, but tell you about something that I regretted. I
Yeah.
was so afraid to and embarrassed to play golf early on with anyone who was really good. And I had a good looking swing. Like I said, I'm athletic, so I had a good looking swing. This one day I was practicing, this lady's coming towards me. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm getting nervous because she's really coming right at me. She comes over and says, do you have a game today? She wanted to play golf with me. And I was so afraid that I said no, and it was Althea Gibson.
Oh, geez.
So I, from then on, said, I'm going to say yes to opportunities in life. But can you imagine spending 4 hours or 4.5, whatever it would have been, with Althea Gibson? She was the
Yep.
amateur tennis star, first African American to win those majors, and then the first African American woman on the LPGA tour. What that I could learn from that woman would have been just incredible, and that experience amazing. I learned a lesson from it. Instead, say yes to opportunities, everyone.
There you go. What's one thing you miss about your 20s? I know you're only 32, but
Exactly. I thought I knew it all. I really thought, especially in my early 20s, I just knew everything, Jeff. I had the world figured out.
Oh
And
yeah.
the older I get, there's more I have to figure out. The
No,
more confused I get sometimes.
I get it. Well, what's your favorite movie?
Oh, Secretariat just popped in my head. I have a whole list, but a Debbie movie, if I can add a little to that, is where people transform.
Yes.
It has a happy ending. If it's a true story, it's even better. You know, like Remember the Titans is a good one
Right.
too. But Secretariat, oh, the courage that was shown in that movie, the decision making, the challenges, the mindset, and wow, is that horse amazing? I cry. I can watch that and cry every time. I was a
Oh,
big Rocky
I'm
fan.
with you. I'm with you. Um, here's kind of a fun one. Uh, what would be your last meal on death row?
I would say I'm gonna have a big juicy steak. I would say like a filet mignon
Yeah.
and a totally stuffed baked potato with cheese and sour cream, and I don't like stuff I don't eat. Well, you're getting me hungry.
Well, it's
I
my
should have
job.
known this is grilling at the greens.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I typically I do love vegetables. So oh, like grilled. Do you grill any zucchini
Oh
when
yeah.
you grill? Oh,
Yeah.
like grilled zucchini with that. And then
Yeah.
of course I've got to have grilled mushrooms and onions to go with the steak.
Well,
Yeah,
see, I'll make
I
it.
think that would
I'll.
do it.
Do you eat seafood?
I do. I do. I
Okay.
love seafood.
I do a stuffed portobello with crabs, scallops, shrimp, little cream cheese, little sour cream, some capers, water chestnuts, multiple layers of cheese on the top. I can make that for you.
Wow. Yeah, I've got to throw out the non-dairy thing when I come see you.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
I'm
That's
gonna
not
get
gonna
on a
that
flight
that
soon.
that bird isn't gonna fly around
No,
here.
it isn't.
But I can make you twice baked potatoes too because I do it
Oh,
at the holidays for people. You know, like you said, it's got lots of butter and sour cream and bacon bits and diced green onions and covered with multi layers of cheese. And I think that's the only reason people like to come to dinner at our house around the Christmas time is because I make those damn potatoes.
bro.
Anyway,
They might like you a little bit too.
they
They're
might.
kind of
They might.
entertaining.
Last question here. What would your message to the world be? This is your opportunity, Debbie, to share it with the world.
You are in charge of how you feel and where you go in life, and you can do anything you want to do.
Yeah, very good. Debbie O'Connell. Where can people find your book too?
On Amazon, Golf
Okay.
Positive, Live Positive on Amazon. The Flow book, text that number. You can get the ebook for free, 727-339-0106. And can I give something else to these after hour people? Don't tell
Yeah,
the other folks. Well, I
yeah.
mean, if you want to, you
If
can.
they're
But
sober enough, when they, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, this is like the 19th hole, right? I
Right.
imagine. So
Yeah.
that same phone number, if you text the word yes, that brings you to my 5-day challenge. It's called Conquer Your Golf Mind. And I'm going to give everyone a coupon code. I mean,
Okay.
5 days with me. You get your own coach, and it's an amazing pro work. It's usually $1,000. I have it on special for 97. I'm going to give everybody $50 off of that too. Conquer 50 is the coupon code.
Okay.
So just say yes, like what I didn't do with Althea Gibson.
Okay.
727-339-0106. text the word yes to that. You get the landing page for Conquer. I'd love to hang out with your audience. If they're, you know what, if they like you, they're hanging out with you. I can have a great time hanging out with them too, I'm sure.
Then yeah, we're a fun group. We're a fun group. Uh, Debbie O'Connell, thank you so much, my dear. We got to get out of here, make room so we can kill more pixels next week. But we thank you for listening. We'll be back with another after hours. Don't forget you can watch the versions of this coming up in a week or two on YouTube, et cetera, et cetera. I'm JT. Go out there, play some golf, have some fun, and most of all, be kind. Take care, everybody.